Hey team, welcome to the workout today, and it's a green workout. It's an entry-level beginner workout, but don't let that think, or don't let yourself think that you can't do this one. If you'd like to make things a little bit more intense, you can see here today I've got the weight vest on. So entry-level workouts are not useless if you're at a certain level. You can actually go back to entry-level workouts. Number one, to refocus on your form, to refocus on your range of motion. You can also use them for things like active recovery days, or if you'd like, you can grab a kettlebell, you can grab some dumbbells, or you can pop a weight vest on to make these ones a little bit more intense. So let me demonstrate how we'd make an entry-level workout a little bit more intense today. If you want to go straight to the workout, you want to skip all my chatting, check out the description below, there's a link there. Otherwise, I'm going to run through the 8 movements today, so you can get an idea of what equipment you might need, which is very minimal, by the way. I've got a couple of things here. You might want something tall. You can start off with something like this. You can actually start, you can start right off with something like a drink bottle. So just something with a little bit of height to it. We've got options here, so we'll use them in a bit. Now, the first movement we're doing is the knee push-up. So a knee push-up is a regression of a regular push-up. I'm gonna grab a mat. Actually, I'm gonna grab just a little, oh, where is it? My toast is gone. Don't know where the toast is. I'm gonna grab a mat just for our knees so that we're not rubbing them on the rubber floor here. Now, perfect regression to a regular push-up, because a push-up, you shouldn't feel ashamed when you can't do a full push-up. It is one of those movements that does require a lot of compound muscles. There's a lot of stuff going on with your core just to hold yourself nice and straight, but then also pectorals, triceps, things that you don't generally use in an everyday basis, especially if you found yourself in a vocation that isn't very active. So we can actually start to learn how to do a push-up by getting into a push-up position like this, keeping your hips in between your knees and your shoulders, so nice straight line there. Bend the knees, slowly, bend the knees until the knees touch the ground. Once they touch the ground, just bring your feet up off the floor. So you can see now, we've shortened the lever arm and we've moved that fulcrum closer to where we're pushing away from. Now with a push-up, I love a big range of motion. A big range of motion actually activates more muscles, gets you prepped for more things later on. So you're gonna bring your chest all the way down to the floor and press away. And you can see that even by shortening the fulcrum length, or the length from the fulcrum, because I have a weight vest on, I've counteracted that. So I can still do my knee push-ups, I can still do knee push-ups with everyone else, but because of the weight vest, I've been able to increase the intensity just a little bit, okay? Liam, you used to be self-conscious doing them from your knees in the gym, but no one cares what you're doing. Yeah, very important to note that. That's why I like doing these YouTube ones so that you can do them at home, but it's very important to note that most people at the gym are focusing on themselves. So please try not to feel anxious about doing things in a gym. Unless of course you don't know what you're doing and you haven't been given guidance on something, then please ask. There are plenty of professionals in the gym, PTs. Always go to the gym staff first. Don't just ask a bro dude at the gym, but check with gym staff and qualified professionals. Yeah. So after our knee push-ups, we're gonna go to good mornings. So a good morning is the start of many different movements. It's actually a hip hinge. So what I want you to do is think of the number 7. I think if I do it this way, it turns into a proper number 7 on the screen there. So feet flat on the floor, straight legs, straight back, just standing up nice and straight. You think about a hinge at your hips, we're gonna bend. Now you see that sometimes the knees will bend a little bit. That's just because of flexibility. But important thing to note here is that my back is keeping its nice neutral posture. So I'm not curving my back at all. I'm kicking my butt backwards. My back is remaining straight. And then I'm using my hamstrings and my glutes to thrust my hips forward, squeezing my butt at the top. So this is a good morning. Very simple movement, but it's something that once you master, it'll help you with your squats, it'll help you with your deadlifts, it'll help you with anything that requires a neutral spine and glute activation, which to be fair, standing at a standing desk. Standing up, waiting in line, wherever you're waiting in line. Glute activation and neutral spine, very important. So the good morning is a favorite of mine. After a good morning, we have an interesting one. So this is a curtsy lunge. Now, a curtsy lunge may seem like you're putting yourself into a dangerous position, which if you're doing this in an uncontrolled environment, yes, it could be quite dangerous. But what we want to do is try and mitigate the risks of things like basketball, things like falling over, things like tripping. When there's slippery ice, for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, there's slippery ice out sometimes. So we're gonna do what we call a curtsy lunge. Now a regular step back lunge looks like this. We take a step back, take a step back. What we're gonna do is add an additional bit of spice to this. We're gonna step back and to the lateral direction. So if I'm stepping back with my right leg, we're gonna go right and to the, we're gonna go back and to the left, back and to the right with our left leg. Water on tiles from a wet Labrador. Yeah, that's it. So the reason this is called a curtsy lunge is because you're doing that kind of, how do you do? That little curtsy. But what I want you to focus on is keeping your torso upright. You can let this back knee touch the floor just really gently. But when you stand up, what you're gonna feel, a couple of things. Glute activation here, quads here. The knee, because it's in a slightly offset angle, we're training those tendons and ligaments. So the ACL and the MCL. Now, it should go without saying, if you do have issues with your ACL and MCL, then maybe give this one a bit of a miss, or just go to a range of motion that doesn't cause any pain. If there's ever any pain, you need to stop. But if you find yourself in the situation where you're a pretty able body and you haven't hurt your knees and your knees don't hurt, this is a really, really, really good exercise to start training your knees for strength in a weird offset direction, okay? So that when you find yourself slipping in the kitchen or on wet tiles, you don't cause yourself damage because your ligaments are actually strong enough to take that sort of strain. Cool, so that's the curtsy lunge. After curtsy lunges, we're doing bird dogs, grabbing that mat again. Now a bird dog is again about glute activation, but we're adding in the upper body too, we're adding in the arms. So hands and knees. Now again, the weight vest is putting a little bit more pressure onto my core because I have to hold some more weight. What we're gonna do, right hand straight out, left leg straight out and down. Notice that pause. Right hand, or left hand, right leg, straight, pause, bring it down. So if you're doing this right, you're gonna feel one butt cheek. You're gonna feel the shoulders in this extended hand side, and you're gonna feel the quad in the extended leg side too, because you're fighting to make that leg nice and straight. So very important with that one, you don't let your stomach go towards the floor. You're keeping a nice pelvic tilt there and just a really good posture all around. It's not an intense exercise, but it's all about your core strength and your posture with that one. So after bird dogs, we're doing prisoner squats. Pretty much like a regular squat, but instead of just popping down like you normally would, hands behind the head, elbows back, sitting down and up. So deep squat and up, deep and up. So I will put it out there. If you want to join us on Friday, you're gonna get some prisoner squats in today. All right, step jacks. So this is step jacks is great. And if you're in Project Sweat, again, little touch of the nose there. A step jack is a regression of a jumping jack. One of the reasons I've got this weight vest again is because jumping jacks can be quite intense. And if we're dropping the intensity by doing a step jack, I'm able to actually intensify it a little bit more. So this is a step jack. We're stepping to the side. With each step, you've done so many squats. Yeah. So we're stepping to the side, and as you get to that wide feet posture, your hands are close together above your head, trying to keep the arms as straight as possible. This one has a lot of overhead shoulder mobility if you can keep your arms straight. Try not to bend them too much. Straight is better. Cool. After step jacks, we've got the leg overs. So this is where you want to go grab that drink bottle or foam roller. We'll do it with a drink bottle first. Go get your drink bottle, pop it on the ground. You're gonna face this bottle pretty close. Now we're gonna get, basically, if you've done many martial arts, this is called an axe kick. We're gonna kick across our body, up and over. Cross the body, up and over. So up and over, bang, up and over. And what we can do, if that's too easy for you, you can actually go up and over and then return, bang, up and over and then return. So you see what I mean? If we've got a higher obstacle, like a foam roller here, the leg over, up and over, return, bang, up and over, return. That's easy. Let's go a little bit higher. Whoop. This is my favorite, okay? There we go. So I'll be using this guy, but you can use whatever you want. As long as it's not a living being that you can potentially kick in the face, then I'll go with anything, okay? So leg overs, we're gonna kick across our body first and then return. Across the body first and then return. Maintaining balance in that bottom foot. That's right. Okay, and then the last movement here, and this is why I asked if you were here, Goth Martha Stewart, because I know you love this one. Lateral duck walks. We're gonna pop down into a squat. From this squat position, we're gonna move to the right. Close feet, wide feet, close feet, and then back. So this one is all about the glute medius. We're using our glutes by being in that squat position, but now we're using the sides of our glutes to move ourselves laterally. And bring yourself up again. Oh no, oh no. Sweet, so they're the 8 movements. So if you're here, I'm waving my arms. This is where I'll set the marker for the actual workout. In 20 seconds time, we're gonna start off with these knee push-ups. So go grab your mat, start your watches. Whoops. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Bang. Pop the mat on the floor. I'm gonna kick off with these knee push-ups. Let's go. 5 seconds. So remember what I said, you're gonna start off in the full plank position, bending those knees, keeping the hips in between the knees and the shoulders, all the way down and all the way up. So when I say all the way up, try not to hyperextend your elbows. Just a soft extension of the elbow. If you, there's potential for damage with all movements. If you explode into an extension and you hit that end range of motion with a sudden jarring force, it's never a good thing. So always try and hit like a soft extension. Happens with me sometimes if I'm doing the overhead shoulder presses. Mikey used to pick me up on this a lot. I would sometimes bang. Don't do that under load, with pressure, with weight. Not a good thing. Okay, good mornings. You can be anywhere you want for this one. I'm gonna stand right here. Actually, I'm gonna stand side on so you can see me in a little bit more of a full posture. Hinge hip. I'm gonna keep my back nice and straight. I find with this one as well, it sometimes helps to keep the eyes up a little bit. Now, there's ways of intensifying a good morning. One of them I'm doing right now with a weight vest. You wanna keep your feet nice and flat. It's little cues as well. Sometimes you're focusing so much on the glutes and the hamstrings that you forget your feet. And if you're falling back on your heels like that, you wanna try and reset that tripod. So your big toe, little toe, and heel, okay? So big toe, little toe, heel. Try and keep all of those pressed down onto the floor nice and flat. Full pressure through the whole plate of the bottom of the foot there. Okay, curtsy lunges. We're into these fun ones. Now, curtsy lunges are one of my favorites, simply because of the weirdness to it, okay? The strange intricacy of it, and sometimes they're a little bit tricky to figure out. I'm gonna stand as close to the middle of the room as I can. Trying to keep the body upright, okay? So stepping back and to the side. Back and to the side. So what do you feel? Those of you that are at home doing these curtsy lunges, what are you feeling? What parts of your body's working? Is it your quads? Is it your glutes? Is it your brain? Are you trying to figure out the coordination of this? Because that's a valid thing as well. Sometimes movements are not performed well because they're complex, they're tricky. And in those cases, it's the same deal as training a muscle. You have to just practice, lots and lots of reps. Because that whole mind-muscle connection thing, the way that your brain works, you can set some more neural pathways. You can just repeat. Same as learning, rote learning. Keep doing the same thing. And as long as your form's not bad, as long as you're being corrected on your form and you keep repeating with cues in your mind, then it all works out in the end. Bird dogs. Mat, again, here we go. So my heart rate's not crazy up there, but just moving around the room with this weight vest on it's doing a bit of a number on my, just not energy level, but you can feel it. It's like trying to ride your bike through mud. Normally I'm able to bounce around my room and just run around, but that little bit of extra force due to gravity on the mass that I've got attached to my torso takes a little bit more work. So this, by adding a weight vest to your day, I've been reading lots and lots about NEAT, N-E-A-T, the non-exercise activity thermogenesis, I think it stands for. You gotta watch out. Some people think, you know, by adding a weight vest to your day, that's increasing your NEAT. It's not, because that's a conscious thing. This is increasing my activity level, but it's not actually increasing because of an unconscious reaction in your body. So I definitely do endorse the use of a weight vest throughout the day. But I also endorse the act of resting too. You gotta be careful with that one. So keeping the elbows back, keeping the shoulder blades engaged, press those shoulder blades together. This one's a really good cue for people that are learning to squat, that sometimes have problems with their knees going too far forward, their posture not being set correctly. The whole prisoner squat thing can be a little bit more intense, a little bit trickier to mess with. So if that's you, take your time. Don't worry about going too fast, just take your time with these ones. The form will come, the speed will come with good form. Okay, step jacks. My heart rate's not crazy high, but I'm just feeling like the base level of everything is starting to become a little bit more tough. So see, my heart rate's at like 100. I guess normally this sort of thing I'd probably be like at a 90 maybe. Okay, just step into the side and being very quiet. I want you to step like a ninja. Make sure your feet aren't slapping the floor. Make sure it's a nice easy footfall. A few more seconds. Good. And hopefully you're starting to feel those shoulders activate there. You get a nice dynamic stretch on your lats as well. Leg overs, let's go. I'm gonna start off with this nice small one. Oh, what is that? Speaking of Minecraft, whoa. All right, let's do it. We're gonna do the leg overs. Across the body first and then returning, across and then returning. So what I want you to focus on is the balance on the other leg. Don't think so much about the leg that's doing the moving. Think about the balance on this other leg. Try not to let the other leg move. Have your place on the floor, across and across. Bang, across and across. Let's go. Nice. Let's go. So focus on your form. Let's go to the Ender Dragon. Is that an Ender Pearl? Is that what you need to get to the Ender Dragon? I have been told a whole bunch of things about you gotta build a gate, you gotta do this, and then once you've built it this way, you gotta surround it with obsidian or something, and then there's a magical portal that appears and you walk through that, and then you gotta go to Ender things. Yeah, I don't know. All right, lateral ducks. This is how you get to the Ender Dragon. That's the nether portal, okay. Oh, man, I'm so old. Okay. So if you want to get to the nether portal, you got to build a gate. The Ender Dragon is in a different place and you need the eyes to find him. Okay. If you want to get to Glute Garden, and the quad palace, then you're gonna need to do your lateral ducks. This is how you get to Glute Garden. Nice and low, okay? On my way to glute garden. Get nice and low. We're walking left and right, keeping the knees close, keeping the butt at that same elevation. That was a good push. That was like 45 seconds. Alley-oop, nice. Phew. Lay up. These are the POIs for the new Fortnite fitness event map. Ah, poise. The points of interest. Yes, yes. Are you winning? Are you winning, son? It's like, Dad, get out of here. Dad, go. All right. Knee push-ups. We're getting back into it. Let's go. Right. 3, 2, 1. Nice. So that rest that we had there was actually quite a long one, because for our entry-level workouts, I'd love for you to enter each round with a new fresh body. And when I say fresh body, I mean, you know, to an extent it's going to be fresh. Hopefully you've warmed up. But we want to shake off a lot of the fatigue that comes from working hard, pushing hard through a certain movement. And that's one of the reasons why we go from the duck walk back into a push-up, is because we're not going to challenge the legs twice in a row. We're at the good mornings now. So this is the key. If you want to get into glute garden, there's a gate in the front of this, and the gate's got a few locks on it. One of the keys is the lateral duck walks. The other key here is the good mornings. Okay, so really, really good glute activation. The way that you know that you're activating your glutes is because you feel zero tension and you feel zero pressure in the lower back. Your lower back should actually not feel like it's doing any work for this one at all. You want to hinge at the hips. You want that constant tension in your glutes. And you want to translate this into life as well. I mentioned this, I think it was last stream or the stream before, okay? I mentioned this, that I was one day last week, I was actually cleaning out the kitty litter, and I was bending over in a weird, awkward position like this, trying to clean the kitty litter, and I felt a little bit of a twinge in my back. And that was the point. I was like, what am I doing? Why am I bending over like this? And so I literally went into a good morning to clean out the kitty litter, and then using my glutes to fire myself back up. And you gotta remind yourself sometimes, this is exactly what we're doing. That's why we do these curtsy lunges. That's why we do these exercises, is because we want to be able to translate this into life. So don't let your form break even when you leave the gym. That's the number one reason why people injure themselves. That's why, you know, big bodybuilders will hurt their back, not by deadlifting 300 kilos, but by twisting in a weird position to pull the kids out of the back seat of their car, like to undo the locks, and they're picking them up in a weird way that they're not bracing their core, because they'll forget. And you know, we're human. So just do whatever you can to remind yourself. The lower back should not be under much tension, because we have big, strong glute muscles to do that work for us. The glutes are huge. Like when we look at the size of muscles over here, I find it's pretty important for us to talk about in our rest there. So the size of your glutes here, they're pretty big when compared to the little back muscles here, which most of the time aren't muscles. They're actually just ligaments and sort of, what do you call them? Tendons, that white connective tissue. So a lot of that stuff get damaged pretty easily. And then it takes a long time for that stuff to repair too. So here we go. Speaking of glutes, we've got our bird dogs to do. So hands and knees, hand out, leg back. So this one, you really should feel that one glute, the one butt cheek activating on the leg that's being extended out straight. Important that you hold it for a second. Bring it back, hold it, and down. Out, hold. So really try and reach reach both sides, both walls. The wall that's in front of you, reach for that with your hand, and the wall that's behind you, try and point the toes out. Keeping yourself nice and stable. Good. Awesome. Do. Moving this out of the way, because we've got our prisoner squats again. So remember the prisoner squats. I want you to focus on your depth. As well as depth, think about how your hips are. Think about that butt wink that we've spoken so much about. If you're doing a squat and you feel your butt curving like this, reset yourself and try and squat to the point at which you feel the butt winking under, because you don't want to go below that. Same time, I'm going to bring my hands behind my head. I'm going to pull my elbows back, shoulder blades back, and pushing away with the whole foot with these squats here. Down, up, good. How's my butt wink, team? If you're watching me live in chat, I'm trying to keep my core braced to a point where my butt wink doesn't kick in. You can sometimes help that by spreading your feet. You see, when I'm doing my prisoner squats, I'm actually quite wide with my squats. You can bring your feet in closer, but you sometimes find that the butt wink kicks in a little bit earlier there. Again, it's another threshold that you can work with. If you want to try and improve your closed feet squats, then by all means, bring your feet together, but be prepared to be checking on your form a little bit more. Okay, step jacks, go. Straight arms. If you can, clap above your head when you're performing these steps. If you find that the previous iterations have not been too intense, you can bring the speed up now. And just by waving your arms around and stepping a little bit faster, you'll be surprised by how much more this calls upon your body's energy systems. Go faster. Good. So yeah, look, 120, up to 120. Bit more heart rate. Good. Also this weight vest, something that you don't realize until you wear one for a bit. The amount of force down on your traps does increase quite a bit. Okay, we've got our leg overs. So I'm gonna go to the, we're gonna go to the ender pearl again. Good old ender pearl, because this is round number 2. Let's go. It's great, that's okay guys. I did see a few things pop up on Discord there. So just focusing on this one. You see, I've shut my mouth because I'm focusing on my balance. This is one, because I've got the weight vest on now, it's kind of thrown me a little bit. Normally I'm pretty good with single leg balance, but by adding this additional weight up here, it's kind of changed the center of gravity to be a little bit higher in my body. So when I do things like leaning back or leaning forward, it requires a little bit more stability in my core. And that's the whole point. That's a good thing. It's a good thing to be thrown off balance sometimes, because it forces you to rethink your reactions. Okay, let's do these lateral ducks. Again, I found another key to glute garden. I'm gonna pop down nice and low. There we go. Trying to keep my head at the same height throughout this whole thing. Don't be bold. We're not bobbing, we're not squatting. We're trying to keep that walk nice and flat. So wide feet, close feet. Wide, close. So hopefully you're feeling this. You may see people do this in the gym or online with bands, which is great, but I think a lot of people just don't do things unbanded. They don't do things without weights and without force enough. Once you're fully comfortable without bands, then by all means go grab a band, grab a booty band. But I'd like for people to, especially at the green level, at the entry level, I'd love for people to just look like a machine, look just amazingly clean without any apparatus first. Okay, 47 seconds rest. Right, knee push-ups. And serious lateral duck walks got me into the green zone. I wasn't moving fast, was I? Yeah. And so that's why I applaud you. If you're here watching the YouTube video or you're here live in stream, absolute huge heartfelt thanks from me to you for being here, because you've found your way to some social media, you've found your way to some content here, and hopefully we can demystify it, we can break down some of the reasoning behind why people do certain things in certain ways, not just showing people on screen doing something in a certain way. Hey, Stropix, you still here? Good on you. Okay, knee push-ups. I really enjoy doing knee push-ups on stream, not because they're a regression, but also, yes, because they're a regression, and you don't see a lot of people glamorizing regressions. And I think that's if you break it down, to be fair, it's kind of gatekeeping, isn't it? Hey, when you have a fitness influencer, or all you see are the regressions, and all you see are the full end product of all of your training. Yeah, it's cool, but I feel like there is a value in seeing us regress things in a certain way that's going to make it accessible to you at home that may have never done a push-up before. Jay, thank you so much for that 2-month, mate. I appreciate you. How are the lizards going? Hey, and Asinicus, is it Asinicus? Welcome in. We got good mornings to do. Again, lots of glute activation here. So keeping those legs straight, keeping the back straight. It's funny, this here, you know, back in the 80s and the 90s, you'd often hear, or this is something that I get slapped over the wrist for. It's like, don't bend over like that. Use your legs to pick up that. Use your legs to pick something up. And true, if you were to squat and use your legs more, you would put less loading on the back. But I think it's remiss, it would be remiss of me as a PT to completely ignore the fact that we can train ourselves to hinge, as long as you're following a few proper techniques there. Hey, oh nice! You took the lizards in? That's so good. You use the confidence techniques? Like that. Nice, all right, curtsy lunges. So yeah, good mornings are a fantastic movement that I think a lot of people are afraid of, especially if you are of the older generation, because you've been taught a certain thing in a certain way. Curtsy lunge, curtsy lunge. Same with these. When you hear old school gym goers, they talk about having your feet, or you must squat in a straight direction. You must have straight lines in this and this and this. It's great for straight line strength, and it's great for when all of the variables line up in a certain way. So if you're powerlifting, or if you're in an Olympic lifting competition, all of the variables you're trying to control. But this sort of a movement here is us learning to become strong in potentially uncontrolled situations. Good. And uncontrolled situations is when your body calls upon balance and strength that it may not have. And if it's beyond the threshold of what you've got, then you get injured. So injury prevention. Asinicus, awesome. Welcome in, friend. What's brought you in today? I'm just gonna grab the mat for these bird dogs. We're following a timed workout, which if you're on YouTube, you may see this. But if you're on YouTube, I would encourage you to drop in live on weekday mornings. Here we go, bird dogs. Because it does give you an opportunity to chat live, to say hello, to use some of Twitch's best emotes if you do subscribe. And especially if you are doing a workout where you'd like to get into workouts, and the only thing that's stopping you is potentially having someone to ask a question to. Because sometimes it's a huge shame that people just don't get into any field, let alone exercising, and just becoming a more active person because they've just been a little bit cautious of starting something without, 1 or 2 questions answered. So yeah, please feel free to ask questions. I am a qualified professional. Yeah. Oh, perfect, Asinicus. You want to learn a few more things about health and fitness? Well, fire away. Questions, if you have them. I'll be sure to answer them in as much detail as I have in my scope of practice. And if it's not within my scope, then we can talk about the kind of professionals that you'd need to seek out to answer your questions. Yeah. All right, we've got prisoner squats. Again, Asinicus, exercises you can do at home. Literally the best place for that right now. So all of these movements which I'm doing as part of this workout. We've got prisoner squats. You see how I'm putting my hands behind my head? I'm pulling my shoulder blades back. I'm gonna try and do these ones with a little bit of a closer stance now. So I'm bringing my knees and my feet closer together because I want to try and challenge my core a touch more and slightly different. There's actually, yeah, there's like 43 at the moment, Grace. Nice. So what you want to look for is Asinicus. If you're just getting into things, look for the ones with the green background. They are split into the beginner playlist. And so you'll know green ones are your green tier. You can then step up to your blue tier and then the epic purple tier once you're feeling confident with those ones. Okay, step jacks. Let's go. I'm so happy. Thank you for your kind words there, team. So, outer blade, outer blade. Welcome in. So we're doing step jacks right now. These step jacks are a simplified or regressed version of a jumping jack. And a jumping jack, don't underestimate the jumping jack. If you're someone that hasn't done much physical activity for a while, jumping jacks are a lot of strain on the calves and just the cardiovascular system, because swinging your arms up and down like this takes a bit of work, and it also takes, well, it's a bit of impact on your feet. Yeah. So doing the step jack is a really, really good way of actually working yourself back into being able to do these things, or maybe being able to do these things for the first time. Okay, I'm gonna upgrade. We're gonna go up to the higher item for the leg over. Now, I did say that these are all things you can do at home. Think about what you've got at home. Inanimate objects that have a little bit of height to them, whether that's maybe like a stack of cookbooks or like, don't put a computer tower there. I was thinking maybe you could put a computer tower here, but then it would be okay. Don't kick it. So don't put something of high value or high fragility in front of you. Something that can potentially swing your leg up and over. And if it falls, oh no, doesn't matter. So that's why this thing's perfect, okay? Here we go. Up and over, across the body first, working on our balance and our mobility in our hips. Hip flexor strength. Good. One more. Nice. There you go. So that's quite difficult for some, especially if you haven't done any of the kicking and the leg swinging we've done here on the channel. Also, just be careful of space around you. When you do home workouts like this, make sure you've got yourself in a nice area, not necessarily a lounge room. If you're in a lounge room or a living room, move the coffee table out of the way. You don't want to stub your toe on anything. Got lateral ducks. Let's go down nice and low. So this one is perfect for a lot of people because we want to try and train our glutes. Glute needs, especially the hip muscles here. So if you put your hands on your hips like this, you're gonna feel them activate in funny little pulsating ways as you step left and right. And that's perfect. Because this kind of a movement is about balance, it's about changing of direction. And you're gonna find that it's not just turning a muscle on and off. Doing exercises with pin-loaded cable machines at the gym is perfectly awesome. It's great, just getting some workout in. But you do kind of miss out on that complexity value of trying to maintain balance and trying to push yourself through space in a weird and wonderful posture. Some clients that I had start up with me, I spoke to them last week. They had their first session with me yesterday. They're quite strong, they're quite capable, and I can see when they're doing things like a shoulder press, they can push a lot of weight around, or they're doing a squat like this. But then I had them do a complex movement like a burpee, and it wrote them off in a very quick fashion. So it's putting things together in a weird and strange way that you may not be used to, is also a pretty big facet of fitness. Okay, we're at our mats. We're at our final round now, team. So hopefully you're pushing through. Let's go. Nice. Knee push-ups. So if you're feeling good about these, I'd like you to bring the pace up. This is our last round. So try and get full range of motion. Chest all the way to the floor. You see my hips are in line with my shoulders and my knees. So my chest and my hips actually touch the floor at the same time, and they raise at the same time. That's very important. We're not doing a cobra up. We're not curling the back. You're breathing in, you're setting your core nice and straight, and you're pushing your body away from the floor at the same rate, okay? So please keep an eye on that. Sometimes it can be hard to self-manage as well. So if you want, most people have at their disposal like a mobile phone or an iPad or something. Set it up and just record your workout or record your movements and have a look at your form. Just listen to the things that I say and think back to the cues that I give you whilst you're doing these workouts and say, hey, what would Jeff say about this form? Have a look at your knees, have a look at your hips, have a look at your core bracing. Is your neck moving unnecessarily? All of these things. So when I talk about the neck, you don't want to be doing this for a good morning, or you don't want to be looking to the side. That's why I sometimes don't like the idea of a mirror. I know some people say, oh, I'd love a mirror here in the gym, but what you find is that you do this, and that sets your neck into a bit more of an offset position. So just be very careful of that. If you are going to put a mirror somewhere, make sure it's in a place that isn't going to change your posture too much when your eyes are on it. Even for deadlifts. So when you're deadlifting, normally I'd be looking down to the ground, but sometimes you can move you up like this, and you're like, so you can see yourself. Yeah, sometimes a bit on the nose. Okay, curtsy lunges. Let's go. So sometimes it's worth just focusing on the form, having a video recording of yourself, and then watching the replay later, watching the replay afterwards, and adjusting your form based on that replay as opposed to the eyes in the mirror. Obviously, it depends upon if you've got the mirror in a good place. If I had a mirror right in front of me now and I'm doing these curtsy lunges, nice. Camera with a HUD in your glasses, ooh. Oh, B-foot, now you're thinking with technology. Has anyone tried any glasses with a HUD in them? I'm not talking about VR goggles. They're they're just inconvenient, if that makes sense. I love VR and I love the idea of it, but I would do more with VR if it wasn't so gosh darn inconvenient to get a big computer, strap it to my head, make sure the things are there, make sure the strap's on tight. Yeah, I know the ones with the cameras, but what I'd like is a pair of glasses with proper AR in them. Projection, yeah. You keen, Jake? Yeah. Yeah, and that's why those Google glasses, bird dogs, the Google Glass, that's why that never took off, because in Silicon Valley, where they were being used the most, cinemas just started banning them, and then public places started banning them. Because it's actually a huge breach of privacy, depending on the situation you're in. Because you could take them into a meeting, and you could be looking over commercial in confidence documentation and be beaming that out. What was that TV show? There was actually a TV show that we saw recently. It wasn't in the glasses, it was in the guy's wristwatch. Stealing documentation. Yeah. I won't say, actually, when I think of the name, I won't say it just in case it's gonna spoil the TV show for you. LiDAR and no camera, maybe, but I feel like the LiDAR stuff, you're right, Jake. Let's get these prison squats in. LiDAR would be more applicable for workout stuff, which would be fine, wouldn't it? Because with a LiDAR, I could potentially map out my joints. I could map out where my hips are, where my elbows are, where my shoulders are, and The thing that you may not be able to figure out, Crimsonite, how you going, mate? Welcome in. We're just talking tech. We're nerding out as we're doing fitness. We're here today doing our green level, which is the entry level. Crimsonite knows games. So if you're thinking about loot tiers, green common tier, this is the easiest workout to get in, green lighting. If you want to get in a little bit more in depth, you got your blue rare workouts, and then we've got our purple tiers, which are reserved for special occasions. And I probably wouldn't put a weight vest on for a purple tier one, unless I wanted to go gold tier workout. Because I'm a nerd. Yeah. All right, let's get these step jacks in. Again, step jacks. Don't ever judge these. Don't ever put your nose up at a step jack, because it's a perfectly valid regression to a jumping jack. Some people are working up to jumping jacks. Some people, you don't know, some people may have had a rock climbing accident and they may have fused ankles, which makes plyometrics difficult. So I've got a mate. I call him a mate, but I haven't spoken to him in a while. He's a brutal trainer. He's 63 years old, and for his 63rd birthday, he decided to do 63 reps of 63 kilo deadlifts. Like a stupid number of rounds of that. So yeah. Age is just a number, right? Yeah, it's pretty good, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna grab that. Look, I wonder how intense I can make this. How high can I kick? Reckon? Ho, ho, ho. Let's go, YouTube. Let's go, chat. That's gonna fall over. Okay, we ready? Yeah, nice. So we're in the last round, chat. I want you to try and challenge yourself, okay? Get that leg up. Yeah. Bark, bark. Bark, bark. Bark, bark. The dog next door, YouTube. Can you hear it? It's been going all week. I've spoken to the owners once, but obviously they're just no F's given. Oh, there we go. Hey Galaxy, how you going? We're in this final round. So I decided to up the amperage a little bit. Just a touch, just a little bit. All right, lateral ducks. This is the last movement, by the way. The last movement of this workout. And again, don't ever discount a green level workout. If you wanna increase the intensity, chuck a weight vest on. Makes it a good time. Here we go. Let's go, go, go. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Keeping down nice and low as you can. Galaxy, how you going with your workout? How'd yesterday go? How'd legs do you? Leg day after a 2-hour hike as well. Keeping down nice and low, 20 more seconds. Avoid bouncing, Jeff. Good, 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 good. Let's go. Nice. So good. 5 more seconds. Yeah. Awesome, 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 awesome. Well done, team. If you're here in chat and you're following along, give yourselves a few beasts. Oh, yes. Yeah, get after today's Galaxy. Boost, boost. Here, copy that in, paste that in. Yup. And if you're here on YouTube watching this episode, congratulations. If that was your first workout, welcome to the world of FFP recorded workouts. If not, if this is your second, third, or even 72nd, thanks for supporting. Make sure you throw the channel out to some friends that may want to do some workouts at home. Because as you saw, this is all very accessible. A mat, something tall, but most workouts that we do don't even need this extra piece of equipment. It's just you. And I want to try and push the fact that you yourself can actually get a really, really good workout in by thinking outside the box a little bit and doing some movements that you normally wouldn't do in quick succession, 4 reps. So thanks for your time, and we'll see you in the next workout.